Okay, so we took this, stood it in the vise, and hammered down on the edge, slowly curling it around, raising it up, hit it more on the edge, curl it around, raise it up, hit it more on the edge, curl it around, until we got this shape. That, I think I'm going to be able to do this with just one. We can manhandle this onto here really tight, and it is really tight. I'll hammer that the rest of the way, then I can bend it around and hammer it to crimp it. So one in the center is going to be fine, that'll hold it. I just got to make sure it's tight, which apparently it is. So I'll start on that, see how far it gets, and I'll show you when it's done. This is getting tighter. It's holding better. And to cut that off and finish it, and unfortunately, because of the hacksaw blade problem, I'm going to have to cut that off with the angle grinder, which means it has to go outside. But this is basically what we're doing. You line up the edge of the hammer with the edge of the metal, and that's where, with the edge of the bar, and that's where you hit this flat plate. To bend it this way, as well as pull it this way. And that keeps it tight while you're hitting it. Camera's shaky as hell, but you know, you're getting the idea. Comes right down to it. Yeah, when it comes right down to it, I could drill through and put a small screw in each one of these to hold everything in place properly, but that's more work. Once I got them in and they're crimped and tight, that's all it's going to be. So I'll take that outside, hammer it flat, and then cut off the excess, and then hammer it tight. Okay, I'll show you after that happens. Drastic change of plans. Due to the mechanics of this thing, I have to set this axle this way, because when the granny cart opens, the bottom is what folds. I didn't realize that right away. It's been so long since I did anything with this. So I gotta have these set at 90. That will still work. These will not. But what will work is a wire braid. Well, not a braid, but wire wrapping. I'm going to wrap this in a steel wire and wrap around here and loop it, and go around and loop it back and forth to hold that at the 90. This crimped will hold it mostly, almost entirely, but yeah, that's going to make things interesting. About there. So I'll cut this off and crimp it. That'll hold everything in place. Then I just have to brace it on these two sides, do a wraparound to brace it in place. That makes it a lot easier. Wish I'd have thought of that first, huh? Okay, I'll bring it back once that's cut off and crimped, and I can show you how to do wire wrap like that. Planning on these before I start. So I had an idea. Instead of doing a straight wire wrap, we have a point at which we can measure 90. And we have angle iron. So, alright, hear me out. Tell me if this sounds stupid, which it is. We start there. We cut vertically there. Well, we start there, we cut a vertical slit there, or something to do the wire wrap through, on this end. Here, we don't need to do much, but here, we cut it off here. We put a slit or hole or something here to do the wire wrap on this end, against this, which holds the whole thing at 90. It's crimped on tight now. You know, relatively, I have to use a bit of force to bend it like that. But, yeah, I think that should do it. So I'll get the angle grinder out again, I'll cut this shit. Okay, let's see how it works. Another change in plans, always. I don't need to cut grooves in this to tie everything together. I can just drill holes to put steel wire through, bend everything together. So I'm going to do that. I'll mark off and drill a bunch of holes and run everything through and show you what I got. It's ugly as shit, it's uneven, but it's solid. That's all that matters. And mechanically, it works. So now, let's set the wheels on there. I'll put the washers on the ends of them. Hold them in place. And we'll see about getting some cotter pins in there. I know I've got a bucket full of pins somewhere. Just got to find the damn thing. So I'll see about that, and then, well, I'll test it for a walk. So before I tape all this up to cover the sharp edges, let's see how it functions. Alright, walks good, rolls good. Put this flat down. Yeah. Nice and tall. Looks decent. Well, you can see this on the camera, but let's fold it up. Clips in place. Perfect. Looks good. All right. So that is the Manny cart. Sits that much. Say that plus that, so it sits. What? What's that? 7 inches, 8 inches? Let's check. 9 inches higher. That's good. Sits 9 inches higher, which makes it easier to hold on to when I'm walking, and I'm not going to be kicking it with my heels all the time. All right. Like I said, I'll clean that up. I'll tape up sharp edges. Make sure it's not going to get tangled up or hurt anybody. And that's it for today. Talk to you next time.